weekend news just got better. Exciting features. It's all about the feeling. It's the Northern Vibes with Raven Davis.
Good evening and welcome to Northern Vibes, your go-to show for everything arts, culture, entertainment, and so much more. I'm Raven Davis, and tonight we introduce you to a Bahamian entrepreneur who followed his purpose and founded Rooted in Agriculture. He is Terrence Roberts III, owner of Berkshire Bahamas Farms. We met with him at his farm here in Grand Bahama to learn how passion, purpose, and persistence shaped his journey into agriculture. Take a look. Terrence Roberts III is a farmer, entrepreneur, and community builder based in Freeport, Grand Bahama, driven by a deep belief that local agriculture can change lives. He is the founder and managing director of Berkshire Bahamas Farms, an operation he launched in 2019 to grow food, educate people, and strengthen food security in the Bahamas. Through his leadership, Berkshire Bahamas Farms has become a hands-on agricultural space, bringing together livestock farming, hydroponics, composting, and sustainable practices all in one place. But for Terrence, the work goes beyond production. His farm is a learning ground, welcoming students, young entrepreneurs, and community groups to experience agriculture up close and understand where their food comes from. Grounded in service and purpose, Terrence continues to use agriculture as a tool for empowerment, showing that farming can build stronger communities, create opportunities, and help shape a more resilient Bahamas. Now, most people chase comfort, but our guest today chose courage, trading a desk for some dirt. Mr. Terrence Roberts III, welcome to Northern Vibes.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I know today is a bit chilly, it's a bit windy, rainy, but who would pass on the opportunity to be on a farm, right?
Right.
Now, when we talk about that, you going from office to farm, what inspired you to take that leap?
For me, it's really been a calling. And even as you can see right behind you, we have scripture on the wall, and it's what I call my come to Jesus moment. I worked at the Grand Bahama Port Authority for 12 years in the IT field. My background is in finance and computer information systems. So yeah, I was always at a desk in the AC, indoors, but life took a turn and now I'm outside. So in short, it was just one of those humbling moments where you feel like life knocks you down and you got to figure out your way back up. And I found agriculture on the way back up. And it's just been very timely the way things happen, because at that time, Hurricane Dorian had hit and then COVID-19 right after. So we were pretty much put in a position to be able to receive and sow to be able to reap.
Right?
Thereafter.
Right.
So, no, it's been a very interesting journey and completely different, but it's freeing, you're out here, you never know what's happening weather-wise, and it's very rewarding to see how the community can benefit from what we are able to plant.
Talk about learning how to pivot, right? But when you tell people you're a farmer now, what is the reaction you usually get?
Interestingly, I don't tell people I'm a farmer.
Okay.
I like to say I'm a farm owner or a businessman, entrepreneur. I like development, even just like business development, community development. I like to be involved to see how we can make home more comfortable, more sustainable for us and generations to come. So when people hear farm, their first thought is like, how, why? Or you went from that to this. I had a conversation with someone a few weeks ago, and they said when they heard I left the Port Authority to do this venture, they thought I was crazy. And,
wow.
Sometimes that's the thought, but when you get into it, you start to understand it, even understanding agriculture for what it is, not just farming. There's so much more to it, and we could always dig deeper into that as well.
What is agriculture?
And I'm glad you asked, because usually when people come out to the farm, we do tours, we don't start with farming. I usually ask the question, well, tell me what's a farm and tell me what's agriculture. And agriculture is really pretty much everything that lives and grows on the earth or from the earth is a part of agriculture, including its byproducts. So even when we walk into the farm, one of the first things we see is cotton. And we intentionally put that there, so as you're going through a tour, you see the cotton there and you start thinking, oh, my shirt's made of cotton. That's agriculture. We have castor plants growing all over the place. If you use castor oil for hair products or different purposes, you know, those things come from the earth. That's agriculture. We even think about building homes. You know, you use wood. Where does wood come from? It comes from the trees. Paper, all these things comes from the earth. And that's one of the main reasons why we have the scripture on the wall right here. Because in Genesis 2:15, it says that God put the man in the Garden of Eden and says, work it and care for it. And if you're able to do that, it'll then care for you. So that's what we stand by, and we just see it as stewardship. This is our way of giving back to the earth, and we're able to take back from it.
Awesome. And for people that have never been here before, what is being produced on this farm?
So it's mainly a livestock and agriculture business. So we have over 1,000 birds, about 2,000 birds. We produce eggs. So we do fresh, local brown eggs. Some of the birds are free range, and then some of them are in coops, so hybrid system. We also do pigs, so we raise pigs for their pork. We have different animals as well for tour purposes, and as we plan to grow, we want to get acclimated with that breed or species until we get to the point of using them for consumption. But what we found is producing food isn't always easy or well received in the community. So what we want to do as well is create experiences. So recently we had an event called Pen to Plate, and that's where the first time it's been done in countries where you have the chefs prepare the meals right here on the farm. The items for the meal comes from the farm. You pair it with local beverages, so it's all community centered. And we set up the tables right here, and they were served. And you know, you're getting that 5-star experience right there on the farm. You see the animals. You're fully immersed, and the chefs are explaining, well, this meal, we use this part of the animal. So we use the pig from nose to tail. We use every part of the animal, different types of pairings, and it's an amazing experience. So we want to create experiences, whether it's educational, culinary, whatever it may be. We want to work with the community and see how we can use agriculture to empower our people.
I have to say I'm mad at you because I really wanted to attend that event, and I saw it on Facebook last night, and I was like, how did I not get to go to this? But what was the reception like anyway?
And see, the thing about that, we have to be able to, like I say, empower each other. Many times, especially here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, we're looking to foreign entities to help uplift us. But we have those gems right here at home. So we had 7 chefs, all locally grown, partnering with Berkshire Bahamas Farms. And the whole idea behind it with the curator, Chef Simeon Hall Jr., his idea was you want to have a mystique to the event. So it was limited seating, only 80 seats. And, you know, you got to buy tickets, and we just had it where it sold out in the first week. So we launched it December 10th. It was sold out by December 16th. And, you know, it is what it is. Now people are looking at this kind of experience like, I can't miss the next one.
When is the next one?
So we're looking at having Pen to Plate as an annual event, but we don't want to wait for a year to have something else. And then everybody doesn't eat pork, so we want to mix it up a bit. So we're looking at doing something quarterly, but you got to stay tuned. And you know, like I said, there's a mystique to it. So you want to keep the community excited for something. But we think that was a great way just to kickstart the new year. It's the same weekend as John Canoe, so it was a fun-filled weekend. That was January 10th, and you know, we partnered with Sands, the brewery, and see, one of the things that we do sustainably, instead of the spent grain, so that's the wheat, the hops, the barley, what they use to produce and brew the beer, instead of it going to the landfill, they dump it off here twice a week, and we use it as supplemental feed for our animals.
Wow.
So we were able to pair some of those beverages with the meals. And some of these chefs, you know, as they're really creative, they were able to add some of the different flavors to that meal. And when you explain it, and it's just an experience you got to be there for.
I will not miss the next one. Well, we talk a lot about food insecurity, right? So much so that the government in the 2025-2026 budget increased the agriculture budget by some $10 million. How does a farm like Berkshire Bahamas fit into this bigger conversation about food security?
Well, I think one of the biggest things we have to do countrywide, nationwide, is educate people on, one, what is food and how is it produced. I think that's where we miss the mark a lot. Tourism being our #1 industry, we have to now figure out how do we pair it well, because what is tourism without food? So if the majority of our food is being imported, how do we take care of our people as well if we have like a pandemic or we're waiting or depending on other countries to feed us. So it's very important for us to be educated on how it works, but also understand what grows well here and have a national plan on what we produce, what level it needs to be produced at, certain standards, so on and so forth, and get the community involved, even have student-led programs. So we've done a summer camp in 2025, and it's looking to continue to grow. And we've also started a program with some of the eco schools on island where they can allow the kids to be immersed on the farm and doing different sustainable practices as well. So, you know, taking waste, it can be fed to animals or it can be used as compost, so we're making our own soils, understanding how soil feeds the plants that are growing that we're going to consume. So it's a whole industry movement that needs to happen in terms of agriculture, not just farming and food, but definitely we have to be able to feed ourselves. And as far as I know, if we put all of the farmers in country together, we can't feed consistently one settlement on
Really?
Grand Bahama.
That was going to be my next question. You know, if there is a major, you know, supply disruption, how ready are our farms to meet demand?
And that's the thing, we're not ready. So that's even where we need to come together community-wise and, you know, form cooperatives where we understand, okay, distribution. Even if we're looking large scale on the business side, if you want to be able to supply an Atlantis or Bahama, we can't do it. So we got to be able to say, well, if your farm is able to produce 10,000 eggs this week, I can do 5,000. We need to hit 20. We need to be able to pull in the others, you know, or even find ways to pair farmers together to say, okay, this one is growing at this standard. We need more to, like, this is the standard, let's work together. So we have to find different ways to work together. And we also have different entities like the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality, where we need to know, okay, what's coming into country, is that meeting the food standard that our people should be eating? Because we need to understand the health side of it. Because when we look at a lot of the food that's being imported, you know, what's the standard? And sometimes if you dig deep enough, you want to know what you're putting into your body.
That's just powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah.
What would you say a typical day is like for you on this farm?
Every day can be different. You know, we have some SOPs in place so we understand, okay, first thing, you deal with feeding the animals, making sure the housing areas are clean and comfortable for the animals, collecting eggs. But we also have a store here, so we just found ways where we bring the customers to us, because that's another conversation, even trying to get into the local food market and competing with the imported products. So we're open every day except Sunday, so we have customers coming all the time. We supply other farmers with animal feed. We supply manure for those who do backyard farming or want to enrich the soil in their yard, landscaping, things of that sort. And depending on what kind of events are happening, you know, we're preparing animals, we do pig roast experiences. So a typical day, no day is the same. No day is the same. And I think that's the exciting thing about being in the dirt instead of at the desk now. You know, it's something I look forward to. And then, you know, when you're really in entrepreneurship, you realize that you're not only responsible for yourself and your home. You know, you're now employing others, you're feeding a community, so, you know, that comes with a certain level of responsibility as well.
Would you say that is the hardest part about this type of work?
Yeah, it's the toughest part, especially when we're so dependent on import. So even like the inputs we need to feed the animals or anything, like most department stores or stores locally don't carry farm or agriculture items, so everything has to be ordered and imported. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's a huge responsibility. But like I say, it's very rewarding, and you know, we keep the faith.
Would you say that you have sufficient support?
The support is there. We need it to grow because, like I said, right now we're barely scraping the surface with supplying the demand. But assistance is always needed. Like I say, it's a community movement, so we have to grow together, not just even focusing on us. How can we grow together as a nation?
And for a young person who may be stuck at a job that they don't like right now, even just stuck in life in general, what advice would you give them about taking a risk like what you did?
Well, I think the biggest thing, one is, we're all born with purpose, and we need to be able to figure out what that purpose is. And for me, that's been a faith journey for myself. So, I lean on my Lord and Savior.
Discover your purpose.
Yes, discover your purpose, and I've been called to cultivate.
Definitely. Well, I'm excited to have a chance to walk through the farm and, just get my own little guided tour. But thank you so much, Mr. Roberts, for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
An inspiring story of passion, perseverance, and growth right here in Grand Bahama. But when we come back, we share stories from around the North. Stay with us.
Step into styles at Indulgence Ladies Boutique, located in number 5B Kent Building, just 2 doors down from D's Watch Repair. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., bringing you fashion for every occasion. Weddings, funerals, christenings, birthday, brunches, or just a night out. From plus size to regular, they've got the perfect fit for you. Discover handbags, perfume, body oils, fascinators, belts, and so much more. All in one place. Give them a call today at 826-0110. Indulgence Ladies Boutique, where fashion meets confidence.
Hello. What time's the flight?
No one asked us to go. Hello? Into the storm. Into the chaos. To witness devastation. No one asked us to go.
Are you ready?
Because it's the story that drives us forward, that brings truth to light, that connects us all. This is why we go.
Breaking news out of Grand Bahama, our Raven Davis has been covering this story all day and joins us live now with the latest. Raven, what can you tell us?
Tashramiko, I had a chance to speak to many of the residents, and many of them are concerned about... Welcome back. After overcoming a stretching 15 rounds at this year's district spelling bee, a Bishop Michael Eldon student outlasted over 40 competitors to take the crown. Our Matthew Monamboro spoke with the champ in this report.
The 29th annual Grand Bahama, Bimini and the Keys District Spelling Bee contained 42 aspiring pupils vying for this year's top crown.
May I have the definition, please? The definition of unleash is to loose from control or restraint. Gaunt. G-A-U-N-T. Gaunt. Deflated. D-E-F-L-A-T-E-D. Deflated.
However, only one could prevail.
The next word on my list is deductible. 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 D-E-D-U-C-T-I-B-L-E. Deductible. We have a winner!
After lasting a daunting 15 rounds, Bishop Michael Eldon School's Simone Martin came away as this year's winner. She gleefully shares her anxious start to the day ultimately led to her appall after hearing her achievement.
I was a little afraid that I was going to get out a little earlier, but surprisingly I stayed in as longer than I expected, so I'm just happy that everything planned out like that. I felt a little shocked, but I was very happy when I heard that I won.
Bringing a shower of pride and affection for the little one is Simone's parents, her dad's Theory, and her mom and spelling coach, Belinda. And they say nothing less than a win was expected for their special girl.
I mean, she stuck to her game. She came in very confident. And once I saw that she got both wrong with the vocabulary, I said to myself, she's gonna win.
I was hoping for it, yes. I think we were all hoping for it. I don't know how much Simone was hoping for it, but me and her dad were expecting a win. With this being her last rodeo, we were expecting to win.
Switching gears now, cancer remains one of the leading health concerns affecting families nationwide. In recognition of World Cancer Day, the Mammogram Access Program pushed the conversation beyond awareness, hosting a luncheon at the Pelican Bay Hotel with remarks from the Prime Minister's wife as guest speaker. Jolanda Thompson-Everest has more.
Against the backdrop of Pelican Bay Hotel, survivors, advocates, and supporters gathered for a World Cancer Day luncheon hosted by the Mammogram Access Program. The event, featuring the wife of the Prime Minister as guest speaker, focused on keeping cancer awareness and prevention a community priority year-round, according to founder Nikia Watson.
We tend to do things out of season so that you're not locked into one particular time. You want to make sure that it's in the forefront of your mind, because breast cancer can occur at any time, not just October.
Watson and her team of Lemonistas set the tone with an elegant atmosphere, treating attendees to a lovely meal and empowering words from First Lady Anne-Marie Davis. The room was wrapped with attention as Davis spoke passionately about early prevention, encouraging guests to take testing seriously.
Cancer does not wait for convenience. It doesn't. And so that is why programs like the Mammogram Access Program is so vital. They interrupt that cycle of postponement that we all have. And they say now is the right time. Now is the moment to take care of yourself.
Between 2018 and 2022, roughly 2,000 people were diagnosed with cancer in the country, including 10 men, according to Mammogram Access Program Chairman Dr. Dalton Farquharson.
What we've noticed over the years and over time is the screening mammogram, particularly in the northern Bahamas, has saw 90 to 95% decrease or decrease in, and so we're here to raise awareness that women and men should take advantage of benefits of early detection.
Attendee and survivor Rika Cargill addressing the fear that often keeps women from getting tested while being sensitive to the tendency to delay.
And because you are afraid doesn't mean you must not go and get yourself checked. It's because you are afraid that you should go and get yourself tested. Early detection can save your life.
During the luncheon, the Mammogram Access Program also launched its A3 Risk Assessment Program, aimed at increasing access to mammogram screenings and strengthening advocacy efforts across the country.
Meantime, guidance counselors across the country are celebrating their work in the counseling field this week under the theme Change Agents Amplifying Student Success. The week is dedicated to highlighting the vital role guidance counselors play in the lives of students, the community, and family. This, according to chairperson for the Grand Bahama Association of Counselors, Imani Sanders. The week kicked off with a church service on Sunday, while on Monday, counselors educated students and parents on the field. On Tuesday, students were able to show gratitude to their counselors.
Make sure that our community, our parents that we work with, and our students know that we are here to support them. We want to highlight the professional role of the counselor and also just to advocate for the position of school counselor as well.
Amplify partnerships. This is where we will come together and we will collaborate with all of our stakeholders. That's teachers, that's staff, that's the PDA board, and that's the community at large. And on Friday, we end with Amplifying the Future.
Shireen Saint, guidance counselor at Freeport Primary School, and Georgette Thompson, counselor at Hugh Campbell School, highlighting the importance of celebrating counselors.
Our role is very important in the school because we help to develop children. We help them to become a whole person along with their parents.
It's important to celebrate counselors because we are the glue. We keep the school going, we keep the school running, and not just for the students, but for parents, for staff, for the entire body.
In other news, cervical cancer, one of the most preventable forms of the disease, was the focus of the Cancer Society's Don't Fear the Smear campaign. The drive-through testing initiative took place on the grounds of Paris Plaza, aiming to encourage early detection and prevention. Jolanda Thompson-Everest has more details in this report.
The grounds of Paris Plaza became a hub of awareness and prevention as the Cancer Society's Don't Fear the Smear campaign encouraged women to take charge of their health. Residents from all over the island filled the parking lot, with a few more waiting inside for their turn to be tested. The drive-through effort was supported by the wife of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis, Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, along with the Grand Bahama Power Company and the University of Miami. Leading the effort, Dr. Sayeda Bowe.
We're seeing, unfortunately, a rise in cervical cancer deaths and the detection of cervical cancer. And as I said, we want to bring awareness. We want women to know, January Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. We want you to know, come out, get tested.
The wife of the Prime Minister and Minister for Grand Bahama reminding women that early detection is key.
It's a viral infection. It's a virus, and once we can cure that virus, we can cure cervical cancer.
If we take advantage of all of the opportunities that are available to us, then we will be able to improve our conditions.
The Grand Bahama Power Company and the University of Miami were happy to support the initiative, standing alongside organizers in the belief that cervical cancer can be overcome.
Any initiative like this, we are happy to support to make sure that the community is able to get what they need, even if they can't afford it.
It's important that we take control of our health, of our lives, and to participate in our health. And this opportunity, which is free, should be taken advantage of.
Cancer survivor Stacey Sands expressing that life can be saved, sharing that she herself beat the odds.
He was diagnosed in last March. When they would have found out, I would have been stage 3. And so, had I taken any longer time, I wouldn't have been standing here today.
Meantime, for more than a century, St. Stephen's Anglican Church has stood as a cornerstone of faith in the H. Malrock community, shaping lives well beyond its congregation. As the church marks 175 years, the bishop of the Diocese of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos says its true impact is measured not in years, but in the lives it has touched.
It is an historic place, and this is an historic occasion, 175 years. God has worked through the Anglican Church in these islands for more than 300 years. That's just an historic fact. And we have sought to continue not just to worship our mighty God in church buildings, but to worship God through the uplifting and the improving of humans and their circumstances all the way along. Education, opportunity, upliftment, all to the honor and the glory of God.
St. Stephen's story is deeply rooted in a defining period of Bahamian history. Established in the years following emancipation, the church emerged as a place of hope, healing, and new beginnings for a growing community. The rector of St. Stephen's says the anniversary is not only a moment of remembrance, but a time of renewal and forward focus for the parish.
Right after slavery, which would have been the emancipation of slavery, this church would have been started 1851. So it has a rich history in terms of where some of those persons who now became free found it a place of worship, found it a beacon of restoration and freedom. And so we are so happy that this year we're celebrating 175 years. The community is poised, the parish hall is being renovated, and we're doing some work to the church in terms of going into outreach, going to evangelism, and reaching persons who are not coming to church so that we can get it on fire again.
And that does it for this edition of Northern Vibes. I'm Raven Davis. So we hope today's conversation inspired you to think differently about the food you eat and maybe even your role in agriculture. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you, and I can't wait to see you right back here next week. Same time, same energy. Interested in being featured on Northern Vibes? Shoot me an email at ra.davis@znsbahamas.com.
At Fort Montague, I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS. Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition, efforts to reduce the cost of electricity for consumers move steady as the national energy policy passes in Parliament. We take a closer look at traffic fatalities on the island of Freedom. And And coming up in sports, highlights from the Devon Charlton Invitational. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
And welcome to the weekend edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thank you so much for having us in your company. We start in the halls of Parliament, where the national energy policy has been tabled, aimed at enhancing the country's tourism product by promoting renewable energy. Minister of Energy and Transport, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, says the policy also focuses on broader national priorities like driving down the cost of electricity bills, modernizing the power grid, and the rollout of LNG generation.
Green certification programs, and climate resilient infrastructure. A sustainable tourism sector isn't just environmentally responsible, it's what global travelers increasingly demand. For agriculture and fisheries, the policy supports solar-powered irrigation, energy-efficient cold storage, and renewable energy access for farming and fishing communities.
The policy also builds pathways for Bahamians to take advantage of careers in the rapidly emerging renewable energy sector.
The policy encourages the integration of energy studies into STEM curricula, establishing renewable energy training programs at BTVI and the University of the Bahamas, and creating pathways for Bahamians to build careers in this growing sector. And critically, for the environment, we're committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, protecting marine and coastal ecosystems, and meeting our Paris Agreement obligations.
From the upper chamber to climate bills debated and passed during the last Senate session, Leader of Government Business Senator the Honorable Michael Halkitis moved the second reading of the Climate Change Carbon Initiative Amendment Bill 2025 and the Climate Change and Environmental Advisory Unit Bill. He explained that the legislation will govern the way the Bahamas manages its response to climate change and the impact on our environment. The bills also focus on carbon markets development for the trade of carbon credits.
The objective of this exercise, Mr. Vice President, is for better management and oversight, simply put. We anticipate clearer accountability and decision speed of making decisions with one centralized unit. As I said, central oversight by the Office of the Prime Minister reduces fragmentation, and it allows us to report to any, send information to any foreign entity that we need to, as well as to receive information from outside and then disseminate amongst the ministries. It allows for assigning the enforcement of any levies directly to the ministry.
Senate Opposition Leader Senator the Honorable Darren Henfield supported the bills. However, he noted that more independent oversight is still needed than what is detailed in the Environmental Advisory Unit Bill.
Why not consider putting in this bill here some public, some civil group, right, that does not have to answer to the government? But you can't, you will still have the ability to outvote them, but then they would have a right to discourse on behalf of that constituency that is not represented at the table. That's the kind of governance I believe Bahamians are looking for.
As the country heads into the election season, conversations around the electoral process are taking center stage, and parliamentary officials are bringing the discussion to the floor. They recently partnered with Legacy Church to host a civic forum addressing these matters. With an emphasis on targeting first-time voters, event coordinator Dr. Brenda Harris-Pinder says that engaging young people remains a high priority for the upcoming general election.
We have a civic responsibility to be a part of the electoral process. And as we look at what happened in the prior general election, where there was 65% of the populace that registered to vote, we want to encourage persons, because as we look at our children, as we look at the future, as we look, we need change in the nation. In order for change to happen, we have to actively participate, because this is our nation, this is our country, and if we don't fight for it, then it's not worth having it.
Addressing the women in the audience, Senate President Senator the Honorable Lachelle Adderley reminded them of the power they have as young women and the importance of their right to vote.
4 years ago, women in the Bahamas did not vote in a general election. It didn't come easy. And so it annoys me when you ask people, are you registered? No. Are you going to vote? No. It was a right that we had to fight for.
Women represent the largest voting bloc in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We represent more than half, or close to half, of the voters in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Do you know what we can do with that power?
Police over in Grand Bahama are investigating the sexual assault of a 17-year-old girl by a male she knows. Authorities say the alleged incident took place at a home on Spiny Road on Friday. The victim's aunt reported the matter shortly after 4 p.m. Saturday. Officers from the Criminal Investigation Department are now working to identify the suspect and determine the circumstances surrounding the alleged sexual assault. A 33-year-old man was arrested and an illegal firearm confiscated following a domestic dispute Saturday. Police responded to the dispute between a man and a woman on Riviera Court just before 6 a.m. And when they arrived, the man fled the scene. Police say he was immediately apprehended. Officers reviewed footage where the male suspect assaulted the female while in possession of the weapon and proceeded to throw the firearm on the roof of a nearby establishment. Officers were able to recover the firearm that had no ammunition at the time. Police say the suspect was taken into custody and cautioned. Investigations into this matter continues. Believe it or not, the island of Freedom, Eleuthera, is one of those family islands recording the highest traffic fatality rates in country. This alarming trend has prompted traffic police to beef up its informational campaign in an effort to save lives. The weekend team caught up with the officer in charge to get an update on traffic incidents so far for the year and what efforts are now taken to keep numbers down.
Speeding, often combined with alcoholic use, and inattentive driving stands out as the most significant cause, particularly in serious and fatal accidents.
Fatal traffic smash-ups that continue to claim lives on the narrow streets on the island of Eleuthera. According to officer in charge of Eleuthera's Road Traffic Division, Superintendent Franklin Neely, already this year the island has recorded just under 15 traffic accidents, one of them being fatal, resulting in 2 men losing their lives back in January. Superintendent Neely says he's extremely concerned about the individuals involved in these accidents.
The demographic of persons involved in these accidents are mostly males. And I can say that there were a few tourist-related accidents. They tend to adopt the habit of driving on the right side of the street as opposed to driving on the left side of the street. We have encouraged those car rental agencies to put signs in the vehicle and just to remind those persons that in the Bahamas, we drive on the left side of the street. I could say that most of the accidents are occurring in the central and the northern district of Eleuthera when it comes to major and serious accidents.
According to the road traffic report released by the nation's top cop during a Meet the Press recently, the nation's second city has recorded some 14 traffic fatalities in 2025, with the Family Islands picking up 13. Superintendent Neely says his top priority this year is to strengthen its informational campaign and ties with key stakeholders in an attempt to decrease the numbers.
We're going to continue with our town meetings to sensitize the public. We're going to continue with our road checks to enforce all the traffic laws in the Bahamas. We have also spoken to the firefighters, the ambulance drivers. We have spoken to the Ministry of Health so that we can put on a traffic fatality simulation to sensitize the public even more.
And while these measures to save lives are now on the table, Neely says he can't stress enough to Eleuthera motorists to stop cutting corners and obey the rules of the road.
Traffic accidents are largely preventable when motorists and pedestrians follow basic traffic safety practices, like obeying posted speed limit signs, never drive under the influence, always wear your seatbelts, avoid distractive driving, which include cell phones. Remain alert for pedestrians, cyclists, and even animals.
ZNS News has learned that fierce but noted attorney Ramona Farquharson Seymour has died suddenly. ZNS News understands she was rushed to hospital after emergency at home and died later in hospital. Farquharson hosted the legal brief here on the ZNS network for 2 seasons. She was called to the Bahamas bar in December 2001 and is a longtime practicing attorney with over 20 years of experience representing clients in crime and appellate matters. We here at the BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, extend our sincerest condolences to her family.
And still to come, Dairy Queen expands its menu. That story and more when the weekend edition comes right back.
Oh, isn't that nice? Wait, you missed it? You haven't been on the website. Here's how TDC can help you. Whether you're turning your home into a vacation rental, pitching a business idea, or growing what you've already started, the TDC is here to help. Visit tdcbahamas.com for every conversation, event, grant, and opportunity happening near you. Tourism is all of our business, and the TDC is here to support yours.
Back at Little Caesars and good. Our popular Chicago-style pizza is back for a limited time only. Enjoy this delicious, thick, buttery crust pizza that's packed with layers of cheese, meats, and veggies for just $18. That inclusive. Now available at all 5 of our locations. Little Caesars, Oaksville, Carmichael Road, East Street, Pineapple Plaza, Charles Saunders Highway, and One East Plaza.
Pizza.
Hi, I'm Brett Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales here at CBS Bahamas. When it comes to delivery, we've got you covered. For our Family Island customers, we offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. And for our Nassau customers, island-wide delivery is just $5, no matter how much or how little you may order. Shop online today at cbsbahamas.com.
We start this segment with news from our #1 industry, tourism. The Bahamas continues to strengthen its Canadian airlift with the launch of a new nonstop Porter Airlines route from Montreal to Nassau. The inaugural flight touched down this past Thursday, February 5th, marking the start of a seasonal service linking Quebec directly to the Bahamas during the peak winter travel period. Tourism officials say the new route boosts access from one of Canada's key markets, making it easier for travelers to enjoy the country's beaches, culture, and warm hospitality. The Ministry of Tourism says expanded nonstop services from major Canadian cities reinforces the Bahamas' strategy to strengthen connectivity and sustain winter travel demands. At approximately 7 o'clock this morning, a preliminary magnitude 5.8 earthquake occurred when its epicenter located southeast of Cuba. The Bahamas Department of Meteorology, in coordination with the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center and the U.S. Geological Survey, assessed the magnitude, location, and depth. There was no tsunami threat to the Bahamas. Preliminary indications suggest that light to moderate shaking may have been felt in the southeastern Bahamas, but there were no immediate reports of damage or injuries. An early morning workout taking on a deeper purpose Saturday morning, all in an effort to raise awareness and support efforts to end period poverty. The Dignity Girl Project, an organization focused on providing essential menstrual supplies to girls across the nation, hosted a Zumba dance workout at Orange Hill for those interested in helping the cause. Organizers say while education efforts surrounding the topic are ongoing, the stigma still remains.
For men and women, I think breaking the taboo, breaking the stigma, talking about our periods, normalizing it. The statistic of how many girls that find out what a period is when they start their period is so scary. And you think about that young girl going through that. So we need to educate them before they start their periods on what they need to do. And some families aren't comfortable with those conversations, so it's time we break it and we start educating them.
And the executive director of organization started this organization years ago because of the dire need she saw in the society. And we distribute supplies needed not just in New Providence, but to the Family Islands as well.
With melodies to get everyone on their feet and keeping the cause in mind, participants were delighted to be a part of the organization's first Zumba-styled fundraiser.
We're supporting an incredible cause for young women and helping them end poverty in period poverty. And we're having a great time just dancing, getting women together, bonding over something that we all love, which is dancing.
Dairy Queen officially launching its Chill and Grill promotion, drawing long lines of customers hoping to be among the first 50 to win free burgers once a month for the next 6 months. The event marked the brand's push beyond desserts into more substantive dining.
Dairy Queen is all about celebration and occasions, right? So we wanted to expand towards a new moment of the day. So instead of you having treats in the afternoon, now you can have lunch with your family and enjoy those days. We have amazing burgers. The specialty is called the Flamethrower, which is kind of spicy. It's nice. I'm from Mexico and I love that. The chicken strips, it's also very famous in the United States. We have amazing dipping sauce. So yeah, it's a menu for everyone.
In addition to the introduction of new menu options, the event also addressed long-standing customer concerns. In recent years, supply chain challenges limited what Dairy Queen Bahamas could offer, often forcing popular items off the menu. Owner and managing director Donnell Osborne says those issues are now behind them, allowing the brand to fully deliver on what customers have been asking for.
Happened in recent years, and everybody knows, with supply chain issues, and if it didn't work in the U.S. market, then we had a problem with obtaining it. So they discontinued all the time, and we were stuck with customers complaining or fans complaining. We call our customers fans, that, you know, you introduced the chicken and then you stopped it, but we had no control over that. Now we have lunch options, so people can come in, have lunch, and also have a sweet treat. So you're mixing savory and sweet, and that's what we now have.
Stay close. Sports is up next.
Behind every strong economy is a bold entrepreneur, and we're here to support them, island by island. On Grand Bahama, we've helped 486 entrepreneurs turn their dreams into thriving businesses. Through over $14.4 million in approved funding, the SBDC is strengthening Grand Bahama's economy by investing in its leading sectors: food and beverage, tourism, and fishing. Every business we support strengthens the economy, starting with yours. SBDC Bahamas.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
The multimedia unit of the Learning Resources section was formally renamed in honor of legendary educator Mr. Horace K. Wright during a dedication ceremony.
This is the place to inspire. The director summed it up, to inspire what is happening in our schools. But it also has a role, and the PS spoke about it, it also has a communicative role, because I don't know if they still do the radio shows, but they used to do the radio shows. They took education to the nation. This is a powerhouse in the making.
As a teaching practice student in 1994, I and my classmates used this very center to develop instructional content for our subject areas. It provided the resources, technology, and the professional support that allowed us to move beyond basic lesson delivery to more engaging and purposeful instruction.
It was a full-circle moment for Assistant Director of Education Liesl Wright, who is the granddaughter of Mr. Wright, as she currently serves as head of the Learning Resources section.
Horace Kenton Wright was a pioneer, a visionary, and above all, an educator who believed deeply in the power of visual and audio learning to transform young minds. I could remember distinctly him always with, we still have a pair of binoculars that he had. I could remember him with cameras. I could remember him vaguely on the radio.
The recently renovated Horace K. Wright Multimedia Unit provides vital educational support and resources to teachers and students alike, with specialized training areas and modern recording studios for content development. Johnny McIntosh for Ed Talk.
Good evening and welcome to Sports on this stress-free Sunday. I'm Eugene Stewart. Well, the inaugural Devon Charlton Invitational getting out of the blocks yesterday from the old Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. We hear from our two-time indoor hurdle champion on the initiative.
Super excited. We had some great performances so far, some World Junior Championship qualifiers, some FIRSA qualifiers. It's really good to just see the level of competition, and that was the whole point, to just bring high-power competition to the Bombers. Because I remember being a kid on this track and like looking up to professional athletes, and so it's why I try and make myself as visible as possible so people understand that I was right in their shoes and the things that I've been able to accomplish, that they feel, and they know that they can do it too. So I have the chance to bring in some elite athletes who've done it at the highest level and won medals and been successful, and so I know that the Bahamian kids also look up to them, and so just wanted to bring them in so that, again, kids can see that, I think it just makes things seem a lot more achievable.
In basketball news, the Bahamas Basketball Federation releasing its preliminary roster for the second window of the FIBA World Cup 2027 Americas qualifiers, beginning on February 26 against Team Jamaica. The preliminary roster includes Adriel Martinborough, Godfrey Rowe III, Aaron Lavardi, Kai Jones, Travis Munnings, Tavario Miller, Danrod Knowles, Michael Carey, Kadeem Colby, Nathaniel Bastian, Jacob Hanna, Jonathan Watts Jr., David Nesbitt, Gavin Clark, Zane Knowles, Samuel Hunter, Kentwan Smith, Isaiah Mobley, Jerron Burrows, Jackson Jacobs, Dominic Bridgewater, Franco Miller, and Rashad Davies. Now, with the Bahamas currently sitting at the bottom of Group B with an 0-2 record, we hear from first Vice President of the BBF, Moses Johnson.
We're so excited. We're going with continuity. We have some of the regular names. We've released a roster of 24, but we'll narrow that down in the ensuing weeks to 12, and we'll narrow down, send out the team that we'll take to Jamaica as well as Puerto Rico. We're looking forward to this window because this now is a bounce-back window after losing to Canada. So this would put it back into contention in the group so that we stay in the top three and advance to the second round.
And finally, in baseball news, as the World's Game continues to approach, several of our Bahamian athletes have answered the call to suit up for Great Britain at this year's World Baseball Classic. Jazz Chisholm Jr., Trace Thompson, B.J. Murray, Lucius Fox, Christian Robinson, Ian Lewis, Chavez Fernander, and Albert Cartwright as assistant coach will all be a part of the Union Jack squad as they compete in Pool B against the USA, Mexico, Italy, and Brazil. All games in pool play will begin March 6th and will run through the 11th in Houston, Texas. And that's been your stress-free Sunday Sports. I'm Eugene Stewart. Enjoy your evening.
Guess what's back? Bigger, bolder, and trendier than ever. What's Trending returns February 9th with fresh stories, big energy, and all the vibes you love. And yes, we're kicking it off with love. Join us Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. on the ZNS network, because if it's trending, we're talking about it.
Behind every strong economy is a bold entrepreneur, and we're here to support them, island by island. On Cat Island, we've helped 17 entrepreneurs turn their dreams into thriving businesses. Through over $360,000 in approved funding, the SBDC is strengthening Cat Island's economy by investing in its leading sectors: agriculture, fuel, and fishing. No matter the island, every business we support strengthens the economy. Starting with yours. SBDC Bahamas.
I don't know, but there's all kinds of cars in the parking lot, but you ain't even know where to park. Yeah, just don't park in the, look at this way. Like, he ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park him, just don't park in the handicap spot. No, man, you can't park in the handicap spot. I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, boy, what's going on, dog? I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way park here,
I tell you we shouldn't park here.
Don't get one of these things. My bar big bro, and he get a sticker inside that say this mod though. We gotta move. This is honey gas.
That's what we gotta move.
But we gotta move. We can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
It's time now for a check on tonight's weather forecast. Diane Dorsett joins us in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Diane.
Thanks, LaDawn. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I know everyone's outside pulling for their team. Me, I'm here working, but let's hope I get home before halftime. I'd hate to think I brushed up on my Spanish for nothing. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Okay, but seriously, before we take a look at current conditions, let's quickly get into what's shaping our weather for the next few days. Now, an area of high pressure remains firmly in control across the Bahamas, keeping our weather stable, cool, and mostly sunny as we head through the new week. Now, outside of our studios this evening, it's a 71 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Winds are northeast at 8 miles per hour. Humidity is at 51%, and the pressure is standing at 30.22 inches, or 1,023.5 millibars. Let's have a quick check on temperatures around the Family Islands. In the northwest Bahamas, Green Turtle Key and Freeport City 65 degrees, Allenstown, Bimini, and Bullocks Harbor 69, Marsh Harbor, Abaco 67 degrees, Fresh Creek, Central Andros 74, Camps Bay, South Andros, and Block Point, Exuma 76, Harbor Island 68, Roxley and Luther 71 degrees. In Arthurstown, Kidd Island, San Salvador, and Rumkeys, it's 72 degrees, Georgetown, Exuma 73, and for our southernmost islands, Crooked Island, Clarencetown, and Ragged Island 72. Auckland and Betsy Bay 74, Matthew Tainagua 75, and for the Turks and Caicos Islands 77 degrees. Turning to your boating forecast, in the northwest and central Bahamas today and tomorrow, winds will be northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be at 2 to 4 feet, a high tide at 1 o'clock in the morning, followed by a low tide at 7:24. And for the southeast Bahamas, winds will be northeast at 12 to 18 knots, seas at 3 to 6 feet. Therefore, small craft operators are advised to exercise caution. Now, our satellite picture is showing a few patches of low-level clouds drifting across the islands, but overall conditions remain quiet and settled. For tonight, I hope you have your jackets because we're expecting a temperature of 65 degrees, and you may be feeling some breeze. And for tomorrow, the cool temperatures will carry into with a temperature of 71 degrees, low clouds in the morning, followed by clouds giving way to some sun in the afternoon. Finally, for your extended weather forecast, expect bright sunny days and comfortably cool nights to continue through the work week. And remember that area of high pressure I mentioned yesterday that's bringing happy weather. So by the weekend, temperatures will gradually rebound into the 80s, making for a very pleasant stretch of weather. Now that's your look on weather. It's the start to another beautiful week, and I hope you have a great one. Go Birds. Back to you, LaDawn.
Well, like Diane just said, it's Super Bowl Sunday, and a number of parties are taking place around town. Before the big game got underway, the weekend team got some reaction from the New Village Pub.
Our crowd right around but 2:30, 3 o'clock, we see our crowd starts to come in. You know, we normally have, people out on the roadside looking on in. Out here will be usually parked. Inside will be parked around but 4:30. We'll definitely be ramsacked. 6 o'clock for sure. People will be heated in. It'll be fully packed, ramsacked, and outsiders on the outside looking in.
You see my outfit, eh? You know where my heart is. My heart is in New England, baby, and Drake May is going to bring it home. They have an all-around team, especially with the young quarterback, Drake May, and the defense is clicking on all cylinders. So I prefer to put my bet on the Patriots than Seattle. Seattle hasn't proven yet this season they can beat the Patriots.
And that will end the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. On behalf of the entire team, thanks for watching. Have a great evening.
At Bahama Boulevard, I'm Sean Innes. This is ZNS.
In this 21st century, our resident voice cries out for the empowerment of the poor, reinstatement of the outcast,